Okay, so I want to tell you how I sold a home in -1 days, which is so exciting for my seller. Yes, for me too. Of course, I'm super excited, but I want to tell you how we did that because it wasn't just an accident. It wasn't, of course, it's very lucky, very awesome, and exciting. Someone shared with me recently that luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and that was exactly what happened. So I want to share with you kind of behind the scenes of how that happened. And also, I want to shed some light on what a pocket listing is and also an office exclusive listing. So let's talk about how we sold this house in -1 days. So I'm so excited to share this with you. So, first of all, my seller was amazing. He decided he didn't want to overprice his home. He knew that the market was very competitive, and he was very strategic about how he was going to take action and move his home quickly. We sat down, we talked about, okay, these are things that are important to your buyer. So he actually replaced the roof. He got the home professionally painted. He did talk about doing new floors in his scenario. We decided that wasn't necessary. His floors were fine. They were in great condition. They're laminate floors. Could he have gone with something a little more bougie? Sure, but that was not. It wasn't necessary. So we talked about the things that were going to be necessary. They were going to give him the biggest return. They were going to stand out in the marketplace. So he was very strategic. So he was amazing at preparing his home and doing all the right things in this marketplace. And then we actually did a pocket listing for a short time, showed a couple of buyers. Now, and I'll get into exactly what a pocket listing is. Sometimes that is not where we found our buyer. We did not find our buyer while it was a pocket listing. We had a couple of close candidates, people that were very excited and interested, and one of them was just kind of in the beginning stages. They weren't really sure what they wanted to buy yet. They loved the home. They didn't pursue it. The other, it was a close call. They were about to put in an offer on another home, which they did. And I said, hold on a second, let me show you this one first because this does check all the boxes of what you told me. And they had to have a hard conversation. They decided ultimately to go with the other home, which was more money. And that's fine. So we almost had two people kind of curious and interested. But I'll tell you the drawback was we weren't quite ready yet. It wasn't 100% show ready. So that's one thing when you have a pocket listing, you're not always, again, maybe you're doing repairs, maybe you have health issues, maybe for whatever reason, it's hard to have open houses and have things looking perfect. Your home is not always going to be magazine ready. So it was not magazine ready when those two buyers walked through. So I don't know if that was the deciding factor, but they did not pursue it. But fast forward, so we had it as a pocket listing for a couple months, or maybe just a month. Sorry, it was somewhere around a month or so. But we were under this. My seller was preparing his home for months. It literally took him from January till April, and so March through April we did that pocket listing. So we were about to go live. And this is what happened. I mailed out over 1,800 flyers, letting the neighborhood know, hey, we're having a party. You're the first to know. You're going to get to see this awesome home. Who do you know that needs to move into your neighborhood? Help me choose your neighbor. And so these mailers went out, and we had to be very strategic because you can only market within 24 hours before a listing goes live. So we got these mailers out. Funny story was we were supposed to go live a week ago, and then when he was epoxying the driveway, that was one of his last, the seller was doing the epoxy on his driveway. It was one of the last little things he wanted to do. Not little, it was a big deal. And it started to rain in the middle of it. So we had to cancel, we had to move photos, and we had to bump everything out a little bit further. And so I had to sit there. It was a family ordeal. My whole family helped me with this. And we had to change the date on each of the 1,800 plus flyers. So we got it all changed. We bumped it out a week. We sent out the mailers to go out exactly to land in the mailboxes 24 hours before we went live. And while I was getting the listing ready last night, literally getting the final details into the MLS, getting it ready to just press go in the morning, I got a call that someone had gotten the flyer, and she stopped by, she knocked on my seller's door, went in, he invited her in, took a look around, and she loved it, and she put in an offer. So we are already in agreement, we're already under contract, and it just shows the power of just creating that excitement, that enthusiasm, that urgency. And again, there's a lot of other little details that went into the, you know, getting this home prepared, from finding the right, the right contractors, the right people to help my seller with all these things. There are a lot of little things, but this was the icing on the cake. The flyers were the one that essentially brought our buyer. So yay, that's exciting. So your marketing does work, and sometimes it's, there's multiple sources. Of course, you never know which one it's going to be. But this was obviously what helped in this case. So I want to talk about a pocket listing for a minute and an office exclusive listing. So there are people that decide to do that. And really, if that's what you decide to do, we need to talk about why you choose that as your personal, way of marketing your home. Again, maybe you just want to be more private. You don't want it out there. Just know that you're shrinking down your market. Once you give your realtor permission to publicly market it, because in a pocket listing, your realtor is limited. They cannot do, they can't do mailers. They can't do newspaper ads. They cannot put it online. They can't put a sign up. They can't host open houses. So all these resources that we have, you can, when you do a pocket listing, you have to sign a whole disclosure that you understand what that means and what is limited and what is not for the marketing of your home. So you have to sign off on that. You can't just say, oh yes, Mr. Agent, please sell my home. That's not how it works. I know once upon a time that's how it worked, but recently the MLS, the National Association of Realtors, made us really be good about this. And we have to sign papers and make it all legal. And the whole agreement has to be in place. And it really is to protect all parties so that there's no confusion. Because if you go ahead, someone brings you a buyer while it's a pocket listing, well, now we need to negotiate all the terms and conditions. That makes it complicated. So you're going to have a contract in place. You're going to sign it. Another form saying that you are not letting it go on the MLS and what those terms are going to be like. And then you can market it privately until you are ready to let it go live, if that's the case. And an office listing is very similar, but a little bit different. So your realtor can put it online. Very similar to a pocket listing. They cannot put it out there. I have an office listing right now where it's a beautiful home, but my seller just decided she wants to do it privately for different personal reasons. And I had to have her, sign different disclosures, and I cannot market it publicly. So I can only tell, my buyers, my sellers, but I can't put it out there. So it does handicap the sale of your home. You want to create urgency. You want to create competition. I know our buyer on this contract that we went under contract on last night, she said, Joni, are you going to host an open house tomorrow? I said, well, yeah, I still am going to host it because it's advertised and people know. So I'm still going to show up and let those people kindly know that it is pending, it's under contract. But she was worried about that, right? So there's this urgency. There's this, when you create that urgency. I had another home earlier this year. We sold at full price on day 3 under market. And again, I did these open houses. I did these flyers. I marketed it out there. And it created that urgency, and we had two offers by day 3. Day 3 was when we met the 2 potential buyers, and one of them, they won with a cash offer at full price. So There's lots of different behind the scenes, but creating urgency is going to be huge, and also preparing your home. Like, I'm so grateful that my seller did. So I hope that helps. I would love to talk with you if you're thinking of selling your home in the Villages, Florida. Let's talk about what's working, what's not, how we can really just make your home shine in this market right now. Because yes, there is a lot of competition. You just need to be the best, best in your category, best in your competition, and you need to get it out there and market it correctly. Correctly, or I don't know if that's the right word, but you need to get out there and market it, and expose it to as many. That's my job, is to do that exposure for you. So let's talk about it. I will put my info in the chat, or maybe you know someone who's thinking of selling their home or buying their home. I would love to see how I can help them. Please feel free to give me a call or text me, and we'll connect soon. Have an amazing day, and God bless.